What are you doing?
I'm distracting you, you big turd blossom.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 ways movie villains could have won.
What are you doing? Giving you your reward.
Your eternal reward.
You better not be wasting my time.
No, I have too much to live for.
When you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
For this list, we'll be looking at bad guys who had victory in the palm of their hands, but blew it by ignoring the obvious. Can you think of any villains who could have easily won? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Finish him. The Dark Knight Rises. Breaking Batman's back with his bare hands, Bane achieves the unthinkable.
Oh, your money!
Although all the pieces are in place for the League of Shadows to take over Gotham, Bane refuses to simply finish the job. Instead, Bruce Wayne is sent to an unguarded underground prison. Even after trapping the authorities and blocking off all city exits, Bane doesn't immediately use the nuclear bomb at his disposal. Bane explains that despair is rooted in hope.
As I terrorize Gotham, I will feed its people hope to poison their souls.
By giving Gotham hope, however, Bane allows Bruce enough time to stage a comeback. Granted, Bane probably wasn't expecting Bruce to cure his back with a rope, and we're not entirely sure how Bruce got back to Gotham. Still, Bane should have either killed Bruce or organized better security for that prison.
This video is brought to you by the new Motorola Razr. The flippable, pocketable icon is back, and this time it's 5G ready. Discover more at the link in the description.
Number 19. Use Teleportation More. The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Davy Jones has many supernatural powers, but teleportation is one ability that he definitely could have made better use of. At one point in Dead Man's Chest, Jones and his crew teleport onto the Black Pearl to collect a debt from Captain Jack Sparrow. Jack manages to buy himself 3 extra days, but why doesn't Jones use this ability all the time? In At World's End, Jones teleports onto the Black Pearl's brig to confront Calypso.
My sweet.
Instead of reconnecting with an old flame, Jones should have used this power to ambush our heroes. This power would have been especially beneficial during his final duel against Jack. Jones could have used teleportation to sneak up on Jack and reclaim his heart, but he once again ignores his greatest advantage.
You're a crew of mine, Jack Sparrow.
Number 18. Send another henchman. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. To secure her title as the fairest in the land, the queen orders her huntsman to put Snow White 6 feet under. When the huntsman can't bring himself to harm the princess, however, the queen decides to do the deed herself.
I'll go myself to the dwarf's cottage in a disguise so complete no one will ever suspect.
But wait, wouldn't it have been easier if she just sent another henchman? Was the huntsman her only henchman? Come to think of it, the only other minion we see the queen interact with is her magic mirror. She doesn't seem to have many servants either, as Snow White was handling the cleaning. This has got to be the most understaffed monarchy in history. It's almost as if Snow White is a fairy tale that wasn't meant to be overanalyzed on the internet. Oh, wait. Number 17. Suck out Thackeray's life. Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus opens with 3 elderly witches sucking the life out of a little girl to make themselves younger. That's pretty metal for a Disney movie. Winnie Sanderson points out that the sisters could still afford to shed off a few years. When they discover Thackeray Binks, the Sandersons consider absorbing his youth as well, which would have been the smartest course of action.
Let's brew another batch,
You hag!
Instead, they turn him into an immortal black cat, making him live with the failure of not being able to save his sister. It's a cruel punishment, but this leaves the door open for Thackeray to one day lift his curse. If they sucked out Thackeray's life, the witches would have had a much easier time dealing with our heroes 300 years later.
Come on, move it!
Number 16. Leave the Brody family alone. Jaws the Revenge. In case you didn't know, the shark from Jaws was nicknamed Bruce. Bruce apparently had a mate named Brucette, who wreaked havoc in Jaws 2. In Jaws 3D, SeaWorld is terrorized by Brucetta, Bruce's granddaughter, and baby shark, Bruce's great-grandson. The shark in Jaws the Revenge is Bruce's son, Vengeance. As his nickname suggests, Vengeance seeks to devour the Brodys for continually blowing up his family. We didn't realize that sharks had the mental capacity to plot revenge. We just assumed that they were mindless eating machines. That said, Vengeance should have stayed at Amity Island. There are plenty of humans in the sea after all. Instead, he swims to the Bahamas to finish off the Brodys, doomed to share the fate of his shark relatives.
Smile, you son of a bitch!
Number 15. Keep the cats, the Aristocats. With no living relatives, Madame Adelaide decides to leave her vast fortune to her cats. After Duchess and her kittens pass, Adelaide's butler Edgar will inherit everything.
Cats inherit first, and I come after the cats. Me after... No, it's not fair.
To make himself the sole beneficiary, Edgar tries to get rid of the pesky felines. Here's the thing though. Cats can't communicate with humans or spend money. Even if the cats inherited Adelaide's estate, they would still need Edgar to handle their finances. Edgar could have just bought a lifetime supply of cat food and then spent the rest on himself. Given the size of Adelaide's mansion, it's not like he'd have to share a room with the cats or anything. Adelaide was gift-wrapping Edgar the comfiest cat-sitting job in the world, but his greediness leaves him penniless.
If Edgar had only known about the will, I'm sure he never would have left.
Number 14. Stop toying with the losers. The It franchise. When Pennywise encounters little Georgie, he doesn't spend weeks terrorizing him. He simply lures him towards a storm drain and takes a big bite. This seems to be It's strategy for most of the kids in Derry, and even some adults. When it comes to our main characters, however, It always lets the Losers Club escape after scaring the daylights out of them.
Where you going, Ed?
We know that fear is the secret ingredient that makes children taste so scrumptious, but if It just ate the losers already, there would have been nobody left in Derry to stop it from preying on frightened children. We guess that the losers have a guardian angel looking out for them, or maybe a guardian turtle.
Fear.
Number 13. Build another mutant conversion machine. X-Men: The Last Stand. In the third X-Men movie, a cure is developed that can suppress the X gene, taking away mutant abilities. Magneto sees this as a threat to wipe out all mutants, and thus declares a war on humanity. There was another way that Magneto could have resolved this, though. Remember that mutant conversion machine from the first movie? Why not just build another to reverse the effects of the cure? Sure, the machine wasn't entirely stable, and the Brotherhood may need to kidnap Rogue again. Working out the machine's kinks still sounds better than risking countless mutant lives in an all-out battle, however. Yet revisiting his old plan never occurs to Magneto. Oh well, we're sure that's the only continuity error we'll ever see in the X-Men franchise. Number 12. Guard the Coffin. Dracula. Few horror movie monsters are more revered than Dracula, and Bela Lugosi arguably delivered the character's definitive portrayal. Being so iconic, you'd expect Dracula to go out on a high note. In the end, though, Van Helsing merely stakes Dracula off-screen while he's slumbering in his coffin.
Mina!
For a film that's otherwise a classic, Dracula's demise is pretty anticlimactic. What's more, it could have easily been prevented. Shortly before retreating to his coffin, Dracula kills Renfield, assuming that he led Helsing and Harker to him.
All that blood on my
Wouldn't it have made more sense if Dracula kept Renfield alive and made him guard his coffin? Come to think of it, why didn't Dracula hypnotize several people to protect him whenever the sun rises? Carfax Abbey could use better security. Number 11. Keeping Aladdin alive. Aladdin. After Aladdin retrieves the coveted lamp, Jafar prepares to give the street rat his eternal reward. This makes sense as Jafar wants to tie up all loose ends, and the Cave of Wonders is an ideal place to dispose of a body.
What are you doing? Giving you your reward.
Your eternal reward.
Unfortunately, Jafar didn't count on Aladdin having a monkey up his sleeve or a magic carpet to catch him. The irony is that if Jafar didn't double-cross Aladdin, he might have won. Had Jafar helped him out of the cave instead, Abu wouldn't have stolen the lamp and Aladdin wouldn't have unleashed the genie.
He's long gone with that lamp. Why, you hairy little...
Most importantly, Aladdin wouldn't have learned the price of being an all-powerful genie, which he uses to trick Jafar in the climax.
I'm getting out of here! Phenomenal cosmic powers! Come on, you're the genie! I don't! Itty-bitty living space.
Number 10. More agents, less assimilation. The Matrix Revolutions. Neo may be the one, but Agent Smith levels the playing field in the third Matrix by absorbing the Oracle's powers. Having gained precognition, Smith decides that he can handle Neo on his own. Making his clones stand there and watch seems like such a waste though. Neo can barely hold his own against the main Smith, so imagine how much quicker the fight would have been if every clone joined in.
This is my world! My world!
Now, if the battle still led to Smith assimilating Neo, the end result would have been the same regardless. Neo would have become linked to the Source, allowing him to delete the agents. If Smith and all of his clones ganged up on Neo, however, they could have destroyed him inside the Matrix rather than assimilate him. Number 9. Go after baby Sarah, the Terminator. In an apocalyptic future overrun with machines, humanity's only hope is Resistance leader John Connor. To prevent John from being born, Skynet sends a T-800 back to 1984 to take out his mother Sarah. Although Sarah doesn't have any combat experience at this point, she can still run and hide. She can also fall in love with John's father, who turns out to be Kyle Reese, a Resistance soldier sent back in time to protect her.
Like a robot?
Not a robot. Cyborg.
Skynet should have sent the T-800 back to the 1960s to pursue Sarah as an infant. Yeah, going after a defenseless baby is unspeakable, but Skynet is a soulless entity. In the Terminator Genesis timeline, a T-1000 does pursue a 9-year-old Sarah, but a baby would have been an easier target nonetheless.
He's the only person who has always been there.
Number 8. Snap all the heroes. Avengers Infinity War. In one of cinema's bleakest cliffhangers, Avengers Infinity War concludes with Thanos snapping half of all life in the universe from existence. Many heroes turn to dust in the process, although about half remain alive to fight another day. If Thanos wanted to guarantee his triumph, he should have made sure all of the Avengers perished. We guess the universe wouldn't be balanced without any heroes, but then nobody could have reversed the snap. Thanos did promise to spare Tony Stark in exchange for the Time Stone, but Iron Man would have died in space anyway if Captain Marvel got snapped. At the very least, Thanos should have snapped the rat that brought Ant-Man out of the quantum realm. Now, there's an unsung hero. Number 7. Take Simba out yourself, Scar. The Lion King. After hurling Mufasa to his death, Scar convinces Simba that he's responsible. Scar tells Simba to run away, but then he immediately sends his minions after the lion cub.
Run. Run away and never return.
So why didn't Scar finish off Simba himself and cut out the middleman? Or the middle hyena in this case? We'd say that Scar didn't want to get his own paws dirty, but he literally threw his brother off a cliff a few minutes earlier.
Long live the king.
It's not like he's above doing the same thing to his nephew. Scar could have sunk his claws into Simba and then let the hyenas clean up the mess. Be that as it may, getting to hear Jeremy Irons say kill him totally makes up for this plot hole.
Kill him.
Number 6. Hire an assassin. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. For an evil genius, Lex Luthor doesn't surround himself with the most reliable allies. In the original Superman, Lex should have kept a close eye on Eve Teschmacher when she pointed out that her mother lived in the city he was about to destroy.
If I help you, do you promise to save my mother first?
It's Jesse Eisenberg's Luthor who really defies all logic, however. In an overly complicated plot, Lex manipulates Batman and Superman into fighting each other. Lex trusts that Batman's hatred for Superman will prevail, but wouldn't it have been less convoluted if he hired Deathstroke or Deadshot to take out Supes?
You better not be wasting my time.
No, I have too much to live for.
He could have given them kryptonite bullets and built a mech suit like Batman's. Maybe Lex didn't want any illegal activity traced back to him, but creating Doomsday was kind of a giveaway. Number 5. Come better armed. Home Alone. Harry and Marv would have been better off skipping the McAllister residence, as all of the other houses in the neighborhood still have plenty of valuables to steal. We mean, what did the McAllisters even own that made their house so special?
1, 2, 10.
Some mannequins and a Michael Jordan cutout? If robbing this one house was that important, they could have at least brought more than a couple of crowbars.
Hello.
We don't think Kevin's paint cans and tarantula would have fared well against a firearm. Seemingly having learned his lesson, Harry doesn't underestimate Kevin in the sequel, and arms himself with a gun. Even then, however, he waits until the climax to pull it on Kevin. We feel like he could have taken his shot several other times that night. Number 4. Block Off the Reactor. Star Wars Episode 6: Return of the Jedi.
I've placed a weakness deep within the system, a flaw so small and powerful they will never find it.
Rogue One finally cleared up why the Death Star had an exhaust vent leading to the reactor core, allowing the rebels to destroy the space station in one shot. Nevertheless, it doesn't explain why the Empire makes a similar mistake in Return of the Jedi. To be fair, the Empire does fix the exhaust vent issue, meaning the rebels can only attack while the second Death Star is under construction. The Empire even builds a shield projector on Endor to keep the rebels at bay. Since the reactor was the Death Star's Achilles heel last time though, the Empire should have prioritized blocking off any possible entries. Instead, they add a giant pathway to the reactor, which arguably makes it an even easier shot than before. Number 3. Use a time turner. The Harry Potter franchise. Voldemort takes numerous precautions to ensure his victory, even splitting his soul into several Horcruxes. For someone who's always thinking ahead, stealing a time turner apparently never crossed Voldemort's mind. Time turners may be well guarded by the Ministry of Magic, but we're sure the Death Eaters could have found a way to swipe one. Lucius Malfoy even got a job at the Ministry later down the line. If the Death Eaters had a time turner on hand back in 1981, they could have traveled back a couple of hours and prevented Voldemort's fateful encounter with baby Harry. Actually, there are a lot of instances where the villains, as well as our heroes, could have benefited from time turners. Too bad most of them got messed up in 1996.
What's he talking about, Harry?
I know.
Honestly, Ron, how can somebody be in two places at once?
Number 2. Get rid of water. The Wizard of Oz. Backing Dorothy and her friends into a corner, the Wicked Witch prepares to set the Scarecrow ablaze. Dorothy puts out the flame with water, and the witch gets caught in the crossfire.
You cursed rat!
In a total deus ex machina, it turns out that H2O melts the witch. So why did she have a bucket of water lying around the castle? We suppose that the flying monkeys and Winky guards needed something to keep themselves hydrated, but this is the equivalent of Superman keeping kryptonite lying around at home.
Look out! I'm going!
The witch would have had a clear road to victory if she didn't stalk her one weakness. Let's just go by the Wicked mythology and assume that this was all part of Elphaba's plan to fake her death. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Whiplash could have picked a better time and place to ambush Tony. Iron Man 2. Otto fell for this trick way too easily. Wally.
Look what I got, Otto!
Not possible.
That's right! The plant! Oh, you want it?
Apocalypse could have used Charles to nuke the world, or just not made his announcement. X-Men Apocalypse.
You have lost your way.
You have lost your way.
But I have returned.
But I have returned.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Stop talking. Various. This is such a common villain trope that we couldn't limit it to one movie.
When you have to shoot, shoot, don't talk.
Tell us if this sounds familiar. A villain traps the hero with no clear escape route in sight. Rather than kill the hero while they're vulnerable, the baddie delivers a long-winded speech detailing their plan and/or backstory. After they're done monologuing and gloating, the villain still doesn't kill the hero, wanting to torture them instead.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing, I can't believe.
In the event that the villain does try to kill the hero, they don't confirm that they're dead.
Wait, aren't you even gonna watch them? They could get away.
No. I'm going to leave them alone and not actually witness them dying. I'm just gonna assume it all went to plan. What?
This gives the hero more than enough time to break free and thwart the villain's plan. So many villains would have won if only they learned how to shut up. Particularly the ones in James Bond movies.
I can't hear you, James. I said, doesn't time fly?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.